And we're live, Clive.
I'll do.
I'll do. So, Ciara, here, we're going to do a little video today. For the people who, you know, just coming to the channel, you might not have seen Ciara. I've had a chat with her before, as it were. I did a little vlog. It's about 13 minutes long, which is clips from her life, showing you what she's been through. So I'm going to insert that clip. In fact, we're going to do that now.
So I'm walking and I'm thinking, I'm getting to the bottom and my flat is just with the inside, and I'm thinking, oh, thank God I'm nearly home. And next minute, my face goes to one side. And I'm thinking, yeah, what's going on here? And I feel another thump to my face. And I'm like, I'm saying it out loud, like, this is not happening to me. So I've looked and I've seen this guy and he's dragged me, like, by my hair. Me or not, I've gone to him, do you know who you're fucking with? Like that. So, I'll say this a bit slowly, but...
No, it's all right.
So...
It's all right.
So, yeah. So, I'm getting dragged about, like, by my hair and stuff, and I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on? I've got my mobile phone in my hand, but before, Marvin Nunn got locked up the day before, but before we got locked up, he gave me, you know, some money, like, to keep me going, because he knew he wouldn't get out. And I've put the money, like, you know, in between my bra. So, I'm got thrown on the floor and I've got my handbag, whatever. I actually broke my toe in the process of it. And I've gone like that. Yeah, just, you know, take the money, what you doing? And he's gone. Put it all back in my handbag and he went, it's not about the money. So I'm thinking, what's going on about? This guy's, he's skinny as a rake, he's smaller than me. But I'm like froze and he's gone. It's about teaching little bitches that you can't walk the street with men like me. And I had a great police officer who's called Matt. Oh, he was lovely. And they phones me and they go, we've got him. And I'm like, what? He was like, we've got him. Oh my God, my head fell off. So they said, we need to come and see ya. That's when the whole story, I just put tumbling out. Like, I wasn't the first person. I was one of 6. Not at the time I wasn't. I was the one. There was 4 girls that got attacked before me. It got found at the scene of the last woman. Same age as my mum. She still eats through a straw. She's got no teeth. We'd attacked another girl. I got really good friends with her. I still am to this day. And he tried to drown her in the reservoir. And he actually went home and Googled woman dead in Gorton Reservoir. So, you know, you're going to have to sit on the stand and give evidence. Like, he's denying it. Scariest time of my life. I've never sat, like, on a stand. I've never, like, even with Mark, I've never had to give evidence. You know, he's in the courtroom. His family are sat in front of me and my family going, slags. Like, why is it our fault? You know, the thing is, right, we grew up, even though I didn't know, we struggled. Like, I didn't have, like, a privileged background. You know, his dad owned his own business. Like, he didn't come from anything where you could say, oh, I had a hard childhood. This is why I did it. He worked for St. John's Ambulances. But what we didn't know until after the court case, he was already under the police radar for flashing. The reason that I come round, because he got charged with attempted murder. There was 4 charges on me. Attempted murder, attempted rape, GBH, I think Section 18. I'm just like all my like charges like that. So I've obviously, you have to go to the police station and watch you. They make you watch your 2-hour police interview.
Yeah.
Then the day I'm meant to go to court, the police officer rings me and he says, it's been delayed, you can't give your evidence today. I just said to him, you know what? I'm not giving evidence. You're all pissing me off. So he's like, let's, you know, go for a drink and talk about this. I said no. I went out and got absolutely drunk. I was literally I'm sick of people telling me it's going to be all right. It's, you know, he'll go to jail. Like, you know, you're strong. I don't want to be strong anymore. Like, I've had up to where we're being strong. We were getting there at 9 o'clock, about 10:30 they went to Geordie's in. An hour and a half. I was like, this is it. They found him not guilty. Like, found him not guilty. So the police have come in with us, and like they're sat behind me, I'm sat there, and like they say, like, have you reached a verdict? He's up on 15 charges altogether. So you've got to start from the first victim, and you've got to wait all the way to the end. So I'm the 4th. So if you, when they was reading out like, yeah, he's got found guilty for this, and you cry, the judge would say you can't cry, you're not allowed to cry. You'd be like, what? You're not allowed to cry. And then it come to mine, and still in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this guy's not guilty. I'm looking at him. He didn't smirk. He just looked right at me, just like he could see through me. Like, he didn't flinch when he was going guilty, guilty, guilty. Like, this guy had never been arrested in his life, let alone, gone to jail.
Yeah.
And then they come to my 4 charges, and once he said the first guilty, I remember trying to get up out of the chair, crying my eyes out, saying, I can't do this. And the police officer got my shoulders and literally pinned me down. He went, no, you've got to do this. Like, you literally have got to do this. So then he got found guilty in all charges. Then, obviously, you have a sentencing day. Comes outside, the press are everywhere. 6 weeks. So 2 days before sentencing, I thought, like, what, do something? Like, sentencing to me is let's close this chapter. So I went out and got this.
Unbreakable.
Because you know why? You can break my face. You can break whatever bones you want in my body. You can't break me. You can't break my spirit. So I did.
Don't start me off.
I've done well up to now.
Yeah.
And that's what it meant to me. You can break anything, but you can't break me.
No. To be honest.
It's an absolute animal.
So, what did he get?
So it goes into our statements are read out. We're not allowed to read our statements out for some reason. This judge was just dead fingering on about was all getting emotional. And the judge actually said, what is the most scariest thing about you is any of these seen you in the street, they won't cross over and think, oh my God, he looks like he's going to attack me. And he got sentenced to life with a recommendation of 29 years. And he...
Right, that's the clip inserted. Difficult subject today. It's a word that has become more popular, and that word is grooming. Yeah, I've no idea. I have no idea, love, where you want to go with this. So just start. Just, wherever you want to start. We haven't discussed it, have we?
No, right, well, child grooming. Not grooming. So I was groomed. Obviously didn't know at the time I was groomed. Spoke about it, a little bit about it in my life story, didn't I?
Yeah.
So I was 15, I was at a bus stop in my school uniform.
Yep.
Sees this lad, well, I thought he was a lad, thought he was 21, turned out he was 39.
Was he young looking?
Yeah, he was young looking. So we did, pass off as his age. So I was, smiled at me, but don't forget I was going through a bad, stage in my life at this time. Like with getting kicked out of school, obviously I had bipolar, but I didn't know, did I?
No.
So he's gone past, give us a smile. So I've smiled back, I didn't have a lot of confidence. And then he's come over, he started talking to me. Obviously I'm in my school uniform. He knows how old I am. And we get chatting and, he took my number. And then it just went from there. He was ringing me. I was going round to his flat in my school uniform.
Did you ask him how old he was?
Yeah, he told me he was 21.
See, well, people will say, I've just told you about one of my mates who was 30 odd and he looked like a teenager.
Yeah, you can.
Because people will say, but it is naivety, innit, at that age?
Yeah, you're naive, you're
vulnerable.
15, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's that time in your life where you have vulnerable hormones and all that.
Do you think another word, because people use grooming now, don't they? Do you think it's like another word to be used would be like brainwashing?
Yeah, it is brainwashing.
Because, when you say grooming, it doesn't...
Well, I'll tell you why they say grooming, because it takes some time to build up your trust. And they know that they're grooming you, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they are brainwashing you. That's what he did to me. So then, yeah, I met him, swapped numbers, and like you said, brainwashing, that happened within the matter of a week.
So, is he just nice at first?
Yeah, he's
nice. Is it all nice?
Yeah, it's all nice at first,
Is he telling you what you want to hear?
Yeah, because I was bullied in school, you know. I want one of the, like I said, one of the pretty girls. I didn't have no confidence, so, you know, stuff is going on at home, so, like, someone's giving you the compliment, you know, it's, you know, boosting you a bit, do you know what I mean? And I was thinking, oh, God, I can't be that bad if he likes me, kind of thing. And where I met him, his flat was across the road. I started going round to his flat, and then he was like, stay over, you don't need to go home, like, you know, your family don't want you there. And it was the same with my friends. Like, I had a good friend down there, and then, you know, they start taking you away from, you know, your normality.
What people do is they isolate you, don't they?
Yeah, isolate.
You don't know that.
No, you absolutely don't know it at the time.
A lot of people I'm talking to now are trying to rebuild their lives. They've been isolated. They've got kids. They've been isolated in a relationship. They've been controlled.
Yeah.
At first, they don't know they're being controlled. And before they realise, they've got no friends, alienated from the family.
Yeah, exactly what happened to me.
And that's all you've got.
Yeah, same. I have, like, he used to walk me to school, pick me up. So I'm going to he absolutely knew my age.
Can I?
Go on.
Well, I can ask you this anyway. So, at that age, 15, were you sexually naive?
Yeah, very naive, very. Like I said, I wasn't one of the popular girls. Like, we used to knock about with a few of the lads down my side, but, like, you know, we was like lads, do you know what I mean? We used to just muck about. Like, I wasn't like one of them that had, like, a boyfriend and stuff like that. I just wasn't like that. So, yeah, so then when he come along, it was like a big, you know, shock. And then I'm like, I'm staying at his flat, so I feel grown up. And then, I don't know about...
How long was it before, you know, you sort of started having a relationship, as it were? You know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
And how did that make you feel?
Horrible, because I didn't want to do it.
Really?
Horrible. But I was too far in. I was too brainwashed to think, right, I need to leave. It had gone too far. Every
was
time
it uncomfortable? It's not something you...
No, it was uncomfortable because he was a grown man, and, like, he'd make me do things that I didn't even know existed, do you know what I mean? And then it got to a few weeks in, if you didn't do it, I'd get a smack. So you're better off doing it to avoid having a smack. And then everything will go back to, you know, being nice, like, I love you, I'll take care of you, no one loves you like I do. And you believe it because it is brainwashing.
So it was only 2 weeks and that's it?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
How did your relationship with your family, right, you're already struggling, we know that. You know, you weren't having the best time. Did it get worse?
Yeah, I was telling lies, saying I was staying at my mate's in my side because he lived round the corner. And then, like, my dad was getting on it a bit, and he'd be like, well, I want to speak to her mum. So then we put her mum on the phone, and, like, we'd go up to her bedroom, and then I'd leave, but her mum wouldn't know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And go to his flat. He'd be waiting for me, and then go to his house, well, his flat.
Did you feel comfortable sort of lying to your parents?
No, especially my dad. I mean, my dad wasn't stupid. And then he got on it because, I told you, I've got a scar there in my lip. He punched me in my lip, and my lip was hanging down. I had to go to the hospital. And I said, oh, I got jumped. And my dad was like, you're lying, I know you've got a boyfriend.
Why were you scared to tell your dad? Were you scared what he might do?
My dad, yeah. But at the same time, it was like, I didn't, part of me knew it was wrong, but part of me, because he made me believe that he was the only one that could care for me and love me, it just made me want to keep secrets. Like, he was good at making me keep secrets, do you know what I mean? Like, don't tell your school teacher.
Do you know what? With kids at any age, you know, anyone who's telling them, and I'm talking about young kids as well,
yeah,
you need to keep secrets. There's something wrong with that, isn't there?
Yeah, I've always said to Marvin, like, Talon, he'll never be raised to, don't tell that, because once you say it once,
yeah, of course,
a child then believes lying is okay, and it's not okay. So,
So can I ask about normal? So you're stopping at this flat, yeah? Are you like cleaning, cooking, or doing any? Because at 15, you don't know what to do. You know, most teenagers don't they hang out in a bedroom. They're not like domesticated or anything like that. We expect to do things like that.
Yeah. I was expected to. And at the time, I used to watch my dad and my mum cook. And I remember this day, I was only about 6 weeks, I'll say, with him. And I was trying to learn how to cook a chicken. And I couldn't do it right, so he battered me with a chicken.
Now, you know, you're smiling now, and I might be smiling, but I'm imagining that when you say bash you with a chicken, it's not a friendly...
It's just degrading. And the more someone degrades you like that, I told you, they chip away at you, and they take every piece of you away to where you're like, it's the norm now, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's another word that we use. I've said it, you know, it becomes... Too many people have said to me, it's normal, Sam. Why did you stay with him? It's normal. Why did you end up with somebody else like that? It's normal. It's what you used to. There's nothing normal about being treated
People can
like
watch
that.
this and think, well, you know, if you was going home to your parents, why did you go back? It's not as easy as that. It's really not. I wish it was. I wish, the first time that he hit me, I went home and, I told my parents and I kept away from him, but it's not like that.
Were you ashamed?
Yeah, I was ashamed.
You were obviously scared to tell your dad. Listen,
yeah, I was ashamed.
If somebody, like, it don't matter who somebody, if any daughter tells her dad that somebody, I would imagine even the most gentle person is going to absolutely lose it. He's going to...
My dad went to his grave not nowhere. He knew bits of it. He begged me to tell him. But
however, because you were obviously at the end in a better place with Marvin, then maybe it's best that he didn't know.
Yeah, it just gets left.
It upset him.
Yeah, it upset him. Like, he knew bits, but not like, the major bits. So it just
quite upset me, that.
Oh, bless you. You're a big softie, aren't you?
I know, but, think of your dad and, yeah. If anyone did out, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You would, wouldn't you? Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's all right.
So where did it progress then? So a couple of months in, where are you at? And how long did you stay with this guy?
I'm out at my mum's. My dad found out I've got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
He knows he's older. I don't know how old he is.
Yeah.
Like, the police have been bringing me home because I'm only 15. My dad's phoning the police. I'm hiding.
What do you mean they were bringing you home? Where were they fetching you home
from? From the flat.
So the police knew where they were?
From his flat. The neighbours
know how
was
old
like,
you were?
calling the police, yeah.
Did they, at this point, did you know how old he was?
No. So I didn't even know his real name.
What I don't understand at that time, if police are coming and fetching you back because you're 15, were they not saying anything to him?
No, we're saying that we're friends. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, right, so you're sort of supporting him.
Yeah, of course I am. We're just friends, do you know what I mean? That's what we're telling the police. But it's like, unless you speak up to the police, there's not much they can keep. No,
I'm not saying, nothing on their toes.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, what grounds they were coming. Did I say he's living with this horrible get a bike? It was just the fact that you were underage.
Yeah, they was telling me, look, he's a lot older than you. Do you know what I mean? What you're doing around him. And I'd be like, oh, he's just my friend. Like, I've got loads of friends. But they're nervous and they was bringing me home, and then I turned 16 and then they can't bring you home. I'm an adult, so I moved in with him. Worst mistake in my life. Absolute worst mistake in my life. That's just when it went from there to right down there. And I didn't have my own personality. I didn't have my own feelings. I wasn't allowed anything. Were you allowed to buy your own clothes? No.
Did you have any money?
No. He bought me a pair of trainers one day. This was before I moved in with him. And 20 minutes later, he took them off my feet and I had to get 2 buses home with no shoes on, and he thought it was hilarious. Bearing in mind, I didn't want him to buy me the trainers. I had my own footwear. That's another thing he'd do. He'd, buy me things. I'm not a materialistic person, but, at that age, you feel a bit special, don't you? So, yeah, he took the trainers off me and I had to get 2 buses home barefoot. And I remember people laughing at me on the bus. And then I still went back. But, yeah, I wasn't allowed money. I wasn't even allowed out the flat. Wasn't allowed out the flat.
Did you at any point have any real feelings for him, or did you just...
I thought I was in love with him. I thought he was the be all and the end all. I thought I was generally in love with him. Like, first relationship, I say relationship. Do you know what I mean? First, like, you know, person that, you know, shows you a bit of attention.
Well, you know, going back to your sort of school sweethearts or whatever, I'm sure everyone, you know, when you start seeing someone and that, you get the heart flutters.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying, the little butterflies.
It takes a long time to realise.
Yeah, the little butterflies and all that, but yeah. So then I moved in with him and just... I changed forever then.
How often were you getting beaten?
Every day. Every single day. He'd batter me in a supermarket and no one would stop him.
Really?
Yeah. He'd batter me in
Did you have marks?
Yeah. I constantly walked around with black eyes. Like I said, he stabbed me in the leg. He cut my hair off. He dangled me over the balcony and dropped me. Look, he was just on the first floor. Broken bones. Ripped my hair out. Everything.
Do you know what amazes me? That, you know, I'm not ever going to do anything like that to anyone, but the fact that someone can do that and not think that there's going to be any consequences. Do you know, most people, you know, if you're having a bit of laugh and you miss it, you'd be...
No, he didn't. Like, I didn't know that he'd done it before. Like, when he'd be going out, like, 'cause he took my mobile off me, so I didn't even have family contact. He'd be going out and I didn't know. He was grooming little kids, and I'm talking younger than me, from care homes. Like, he was doing, you know, the same to them. And I'm talking like 13-year-olds, and I didn't find this out till when, you know, they locked him up and we went to court, and, you know, they were showing me all this stuff.
How old were you then?
When I went to court?
Yeah.
17.
So you were with him?
This went on for a very long time. I was with him for 9 months, but this went on. The stalking went on for 2 years.
What, you'd left him?
Yeah.
And it was...
Yeah, he was still stalking me.
Explain that, because again, stalking, you know, it don't get taken seriously, does it?
No.
It's, you know, these people are very clever. I can't even imagine, but I don't know.
You know what it is? It's brainwashing. Like, every time you give me a crack, he'd say, it's your fault, and, you know, eventually believe it's your fault. Like, I wouldn't eat, do you know what I mean? I'd just, you know, do what he said. And like I said in my story, it come to a head that night when he, you know, he battered me unconscious, and I didn't know I was pregnant at the time. And I ended up in hospital. But while he stabbed me, he cut the tendons of his finger. So he ended up in Wivenshaw Hospital. They put me in a B&B for, you know, vulnerable people. And I went up to Wivenshaw Hospital, and the marks I had on me, it was horrific. And I was apologising to him, do you know what I mean? And then he said to me, I can't give you the keys. But he had this guy selling drugs from the flat. He went, go to the crack house, get the keys. And I remember the police saying to me, oh, he's going to get remanded now. And I've gone back to the flat, and within a matter of 3 hours, he's walked in the door. Like, the police have released him because he's got to have surgery for a tendon on his finger. So I was still living with him. Still living with him. Like, the police knew, and they were saying to me, like, you need to get away from him. He's going to kill you. And I was like, but he won't. Like, he's sorry, he won't do it again. The next day, he did it again.
So all the time you're with him and this stalking's going on, you're not in touch with family? No.
The next day when he did it to me, he ripped his front door off and put it on top of my head, and he split my head wide open. Bearing in mind, I'd only just got out of hospital the night before. I had a t-shirt on and a pair of knickers, not even a pair of shoes. I legged out of that flat quickly. I could say my own name. I knew like, he was going to kill me. And I rang my dad from the phone box, and my dad said, get in a taxi and come home. And when I walked in, my dad could not believe the state of me. But it didn't last. I still went back.
Can I ask what happened about the baby?
What happened is, so I didn't know I was pregnant. And then when I went to the hospital, they told me. And the reason behind why thought I couldn't have kids, sorry, is because of the internal damage that he did to me. But he's also sleeping with prostitutes, so he left me with an infection in my tubes.
Oh, really?
Which not many people, only a couple of people know that. I've never, like, you know, spoke out about that, and I didn't know. And I had it for a long time.
Again, at that age, you're not even going to think about anything like that. Yeah.
And then I was getting like excruciating pains, and I was talking to my friend, and she said, let's go, you know, to the clinic. And I remember when my results come in, she's saying to me, look, like, you've got really bad, like, damage, probably 90% that you're not going to be a mum. And at the time, it doesn't... Did that mean anything? It doesn't sink in, like, why would I want to be, you know, a teenage mum? But, you know, he's saying, oh, we'll try for another one. I wasn't trying for the first. Like, don't make out, you know, I'm now 16, like, I'm not trying for a kid, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And a part of me was glad when she said to me, you know, you probably won't be able to have kids. Because then I thought, well, good. You know, if that's what you want, you're not having it. I didn't know he had, at the same time, he had a girlfriend in Liverpool and she was pregnant.
Was she of a proper age?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he was infatuated with her. Whatever went on with them two, he took it out on me. Like, you know, he did batter her and stuff, but yeah, she got pregnant. She decided to keep the baby. I found this out when we went to court. Yeah, he was infatuated with her. I think she was only a little bit younger than me. She wasn't a teenager.
So how did you eventually get away from him?
Like, fully break off?
Yeah.
Then well, about...
There was a court case, weren't there?
Yeah, that come much later. About a week before New Year's Eve 2006, it was enough. I had a mate, and she was from a care home, and I brought her round. He stole a ring off me, and he pawned it, and I needed the pawn ticket because it was my nana's. So he said, come round, and I brought my friend round, and he tried to lock us both in the house. And she looked much younger than she was, and I could just see what he was trying to do in his face. So he's ended up saying, because he was an alcoholic, oh, we'll go to the shop, you know, we'll go, you know, get some beer. This was on New Year's Eve. And that's when I met Marvin. He was dragging me down the street in the middle of town, and I was waiting outside the shop.
For those that Marvin is a partner of a long time, because people might be watching you for the first time. Yeah,
of 15 years. So met him, comes riding over with his belly on his bike, pulls his belly down, clocks Mark, because I'm talking to the working girls, because they used to look after me. Anyone that says working girls don't look after each other are full of shit. They used to give me money, you know, if they'd see me, they'd buy me something to eat, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Mark turned around and said, don't tell me you're with him. It's the first time I've ever seen Mark scared. And I'm thinking...
Did you know him?
Yeah, they'd been locked up together.
Oh, had they?
In the 90s, I didn't know this. And he went, he's a fucking ponce. Like, he brasses girls out. But through when Mark was doing this is what he kept saying to me. I'm going to make you a prostitute. You know, he was telling lads she's a prostitute. Like, getting lads round to the house. And I was like, no, not at all. Trying to force me to smoke crack. And then when it come to court, this is what he'd done to them young girls. He got them on the game. They become prostitutes. They become, you know, crack addicts and heroin addicts. You know, I'm lucky that I didn't. I think if I'd not met Marv, I would have gone back. I'd have kept going back. And
he's controlling it, you know. It's easy for... People will be thinking...
He had control of everything. Mind, body and soul.
Yeah, of course it is.
He had control of me.
This is how it happens, isn't it? And
yeah,
now
of course it is.
These young kids who are vulnerable, and they are vulnerable, I'm sure these people can see it.
Yeah, of course it is. They look at you, and I must have looked weak, and I must have looked vulnerable, and, you know, because you can pick someone out of a crowd, and that's what they're doing now, you know, especially now with online. And you know, like I said, at 15, you're going through a transition in your life where your hormones are everywhere anyway, do you know what I mean? So yeah, 2006, New Year's Eve, I met Marv. Like I said, I'd never seen him look scared. And he was like, you need to leave her alone. And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, he brasses girls out. So he said, so Mark goes in the shop and he went, pass me your phone, dead quick. And it wasn't that Marv was scared of him. He didn't want me to get, you know, a crack, because I didn't know him from Adam.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't want what he wants off you. I'll be your friend. I'll protect you. And he said to this girl, a working girl, tell her what I'm like. But I'm not like that. And she's like, he's mint. So I give him my number and he drags me into town. And we was in the gay village and he just started levering me all over this club. I don't even know what it was over. And Marv rang and he said to me, are you safe? And I said, no. So I managed to dip out of this club and Marv come and got me. And I went and chilled with him at a flat. Like nothing happened, we just, you know, we talked. But he was on licence, so he had to be in at a certain time and he was already over his certain time. So he said to me, let me drop you into town. No, I can walk you into town. And he did. And Mark was there. And it's like, you meant to have gone home. Like, or you meant to be in the... How are you in town? But I didn't know he was there until I felt my hair getting dragged backwards. By this time, Marv's gone, phone's got took off me. Because he knows. And he told me, I know. You know, he said to me, I know what you're doing, you little bitch. He doesn't like you. Like, he doesn't want you. And something changed in my brain. And then he dragged me back to his flat. And I told you in my
life story.
I will never ever reveal what he did to me that night. But I will tell you why I will never reveal it. There's only me and him that knows the horrific things he did to me that night. But you know why I'll never reveal it? Because why he chose to do it that night was because I met Marv that night. And he wants me to remember that night for the way he attacked me. And I refused to. I want to remember that night for meeting Marv.
Yeah.
Because for so long, up until 5 years ago, he tried to, you know, convince me that that's what that night consisted of. That's what you'll remember. And I refused to. He took everything from me that night. He literally took my mind, soul, and every part of my body. And I will not let him destroy the memory of me meeting Marvin. That's one thing he hates, he's not got control over. He couldn't control. When Marvin come along, he gave me that fire back in my belly. Fire that I never knew I had. But it didn't stop there. It continued for another year. He was absolutely stalking me. He'd be outside my mum's. But you're on my street now, you're on my manor. I know the back streets of my street. So I'd see him and I'd be having him running around these streets. You can't beat me on my own street. And then he'd get off and then he'd phone me on another number. And he'd be like, please babe, I love you. I'd be like, just leave me alone. And he'd be like, oh, where's Marvin now? Like that. So I told you I went to start living with Marvin's niece. And it's miles away from where he lived. And I remember going to, I can't remember where I was, but I was on a bus anyway. And I've got on the bus and the man's on the bus. So I knew then he was stalking me. Do you know, because he's saying to me on the phone, oh, your hair looks different. Oh, you've started wearing better clothes, haven't you? And I remember getting on this bus and Marv was locked up and he bought me this Louis bag. And he looked at me and went, oh, he bought you that, did he? And grabbed my handbag off me. So I managed to grab it back and I legged it down the bus stairs and pressed the thing and legged it off the bus. And I thought like he was still stuck on the bus until I felt myself getting dragged backwards and he's dragging this bag. But Marv was in jail and he always phoned me when he, you know, at a certain time. So we had a phone and he's grabbed my bag. So I've gone, oh no, he's gone, not so hard now, are you? So I've said the worst thing I said. When my Marvin gets out of jail, he's going to kill you. He didn't know Marv was in jail. And he had this sadistic look on his face. And I remember the words crystal clear. You're fair game now, aren't you? And I knew what he was going to do. So he's dragged me back. So when, it's all right, 'cause he's going to phone me in a minute. And he's gone to grab my phone. And I thought, no, you're not going to steal my phone because you don't want me to have contact with Marvin. And he was drunk. So as I've pulled my bag and he felt like he was pulling, I've let go and I've had my phone and I've legged it. I've got 20 years on you, I'm fitter and I'm not drunk like you are. And I ran for my life. I must have ran about 2 miles home.
I'm laughing, I'm not thinking it's funny.
I'm like this, I'm pelting it, but at the same time I'm looking at my watch thinking, Marv's going to ring me in 10 minutes, but I don't want him to know. You know, he's locked up, he can't do now. So I got away. I don't even know why I'm shaking at this bit. So I got away anyway, and then I've gone back to his nieces. He's still ringing me. Like, I was scared to go out. He was everywhere.
Did Marv's niece know what were going on and that?
Yeah.
Did you feel safe there?
Yeah, I was safe there. Like, I didn't feel, do you know, I didn't want to live, but I didn't want to die. I say I felt safe, but I don't think I don't think while he still walks the street, I'll ever feel 100% safe.
Is he still around?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get to that in a minute, yeah. And she come home one day and I tried to top myself. Took loads of tablets. She'd gone to actually visit a fella in Kirkham jail. And she don't do things by half.
No.
And I said to her, please don't phone an ambulance. So she sat up with me all night, you know, made me sick, and she said, enough's enough, you need to tell my uncle now. She said, he's got an end. And the police were still involved. And how I knew how serious it was, what he did that night on New Year's Eve, is when I was doing my police interview with the child exploitation team. And I couldn't understand, what do you mean? I'm not being exploited. No, he's my boy. He was my boyfriend. And it took them so long, so many sessions of talking to him, to break the walls down that he put up to make me realise, God, Ciara was a child, wasn't I? And they had to stop me halfway through my interview and say, you need to stop. We've got to go and arrest him again. What you've just told us, like what he's forced you to do, that's a criminal offence. And they locked him up. And they remanded him to Strangeways. The man phoned me from Strangeways. He was phoning me from Strangeways. Then I'm in town one day and I'm thinking, oh, he's locked up now. He's there. The police didn't tell me. For some unknown reason, they've remanded him out of Strangeways till his trial comes.
Bailed.
Like, you know,
we were talking about this the other day, bail, you know, in cases like this. You should know, shouldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I'm not laying it at police's feet, but in cases like this, you know, you think someone's locked up, they should warn you. Yeah,
especially when they know his background. I was thinking about this last night. I don't know if it's still, you get IPP, don't you? So say you're an arm robber, 3 strikes and you're out.
Oh yeah, you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, get.
So
life,
you do.
Yeah.
It's 99 years on the computer, isn't it?
Yeah, if you get a life.
Why don't men like him get it?
Why don't sex offenders?
Yeah, why don't sex offenders get it?
The sentences are pathetic.
Like drug dealers get it.
Pathetic.
I'm not saying, you know, oh yeah, the drug dealer, it's all right to deal drugs. I'm not saying that. They're the scum of the earth as well. But you know, why is it all right for them to get 3 strikes and you're out, and they get locked up, but with sex offenders, you know, it isn't?
When the most prolific sex offenders, paedophiles or whatever, you know, you see them on 2 or 3 sentences, then you're thinking, you know, what they should take, you know, it's amazing where you are now, but a lot of people absolutely ruins their lives. They never pick themselves up. That should be taken into account in court. If you're gonna groom kids and do, you know, and ruin their lives
for a very, very long time, I think he destroyed my life up until about 2016. 10 years later.
Can I ask when it went to court, what he actually got?
He got 5. See, what happened was, with the charge for the New Year's Eve. The prosecution was going to tear me apart. I turned 16. So they was trying to say you was in a relationship with him.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't listen to me.
Yeah.
And the judge come and he said, look, you can run it, but they're gonna tear you apart. What I can suggest you do is we do the child grooming, the exploitation, all the assaults, and I'll give you 5 years. And like I said, I've had a mobile. And I said, I need time to think about it. So I couldn't get hold of him, so I sent him a text. I said, you need to ring me. Because I had this thing, he used to say, you're a grass, you. How can you phone the police because of it? You're a grass.
Again,
yeah.
You know.
So Marvin said to me, listen to me, you're not a grass. You know, and he was explaining what a grass is. He went, you was a kid, you need to get him locked up. And if he's going to get 5 years, it's 5 years longer than walking the street. So I walked back in and I said to the judge, like, yeah, we'll go for 5 years. They, as close as you are to me, they'd let me sit next to him. He tried to pick up the phone in the courtroom and tried to hit me over the head with it.
Really?
Yeah. And got dragged out of there, so I went like that, being a smart ass. Merry Christmas. And he went, I'll see you when I get out. So then I got my own flat and that. I was just never the same person. I was so angry. I was so, you know, I was getting locked up for drunk and disorderly all the time. I was banging on the police station door going, boss, what am I locked up for? I was destroying my life. And then, like, Marv got out and, you know, like, we started living together. And then probation phoned me. This was of 2 years after, like, him getting locked up and saying, oh, we should have contacted you last week. You need to come to the office. So I was on probation, so I thought, oh, you know, what's going on?
What were you on probation for?
Shoplifting.
Okay.
Shoplifting. So I went and she said, we should have rang you last week, Mark's out. And I was like, what? So that started a whole chain of events again.
So how long did he serve?
2 years.
There you go, 2 years. Grooming, child grooming, convicted.
2 years.
It's
not his first offence for it. His third offence for it. He'd been in jail for it before. So he's obviously got up and gave us a parole board, give it the spiel, and they let him out. Didn't even tell me.
IPP sentence, yeah? People for street robbery who were going to serve 3 months, 6 months, still inside 10 years later.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace. This sentence for people like this, that's who it should be for.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You know, a drug dealer can change. You know, an armed robber can change. A sex offender cannot change. It is in you. You can, how can you just get up one day and think, all right, I'm not going to be a rapist anymore? You just don't. So I don't understand how these parole boards can leave him, because it's, you know, it's all about the human rights. But the human rights is shit. So I don't mean to swear.
No,
so
it's all right, love.
I was living with Marv, but you know, at this time I give that guy a terrible time, because Mark tried to convince me. I did what I did because you met Marv. If you hadn't met him, you know, I wouldn't have done it. And every time I got drunk, I'd say it to him, and I'd see the hurt on his face. I never understood the consequences of what I was saying, but he was so gentle and so calm. He knew, like, you know, I didn't mean what I was saying. And when he found out he was out of jail, I refused to leave the flat. So he said, he wants to stalk you. I'll stalk him and I'll find him. And I remember he went to town one day. I refused to leave the flat. I was in the flat for 3 weeks straight, wouldn't even go out and walk my dog. And he phoned me and he went, I told you to get him. And I went, what? He went, I've just absolutely smashed him all around town. I'll tell you why. So I went, go on. Bearing in mind, this man is not allowed with females, Mark, under 16 years of age. He has a lifetime injunction against me. Marvin's seen him walking through town with this young girl, with a toddler who was a girl in a pram. They're holding hands. So Marvin's with all these lads, and he stepped back a bit, and all the lads have looked at him. So he's gone like that. And Marvin told me he'd come out and just started banging him all over. He's actually got a scar there, and it's in the shape of a C, funny enough. So he went, I'm telling you now, you leave her alone. Don't. And he was like, no, I'm not going to touch her, I'm not going to touch her. So then it died down. And then Marv went back to jail, and I seen his friend in town one day, Mark's friend, and Mark said, you've got a flat in Blakely and he's going to burn it to the ground. And I'm thinking, how the fuck does he know where I live? Like, has he seen me get on a bus? But he's described my flat, so I know that he knows where I live. So I've had to phone the housing and phone the police. Police have gone round. Obviously, he's denied it, but they've moved me. Like, they put a 60-second response on my address, fireproof letterbox. I used to have to go to the main post office just to pick my post up.
I just find it incredible that people like this, you know, they just like it says, you know, these people, when they're on probation, monitored on probation. They're not monitored.
No, they're not monitored at all.
They can do anything. They can go on groom girls. They can do what they want. They get on a probation interview, you know, tagged for life. But they shouldn't even be getting out on tag.
He shouldn't even have been allowed to live in Manchester. He got told he was never allowed to live in Manchester again. I'm phoning the police and I'm saying to the police, he's in Manchester. Well, there's nothing we can do. Unless we've got evidence, there's nothing we can do. You know, if he's phoning me off a burner phone, I can't prove it's his number. You know, if he's sending his mates to talk to me, and that's in the agreement, he's not allowed to contact me by a third party.
Is there something in place now?
Yeah.
Still?
It's a lifetime thing. He's not allowed near me.
Wow.
Not allowed near me. Then it all died down. Like, I moved to Gorton. Then obviously, you know, I was attacked again. So I moved again to Beswick. And like I said, I was rebuilding my life. I was making friends. And I started this place and it was called Back on Track. And it's, you know, it's for people that struggle with mental health, just got out of jail, you know. And I loved it in there, like, you know, I used to do cooking classes, but they'll work with you, you know, they can see, you know, that you're a vulnerable person and you've got, and I was loving it. I got certificates in health and social care, they gave me a job in the cafe, you know, I was loving it. And I remember one day, now I told you he's not allowed to live in Manchester. Oh no, I'll tell you something that happened before that. We were sat in the flat one day and Marv goes to me, hey, guess who's in the paper? So I went, who? He went, only Mark. So I went, what for? Trying to groom a 12-year-old girl, and when she told him no, he tried to stab her. He tried to stab her, 12 years of age. In Oldham he was living. Do you know how long he got for that? 2 years. Do you know how long he served? A year.
It's pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic.
He served a year.
You know, these lads on IPP sentences are getting recalled and locked back up for absolutely nothing.
Nothing,
and
like I said, they kept Marv fucking 6 months longer than his sentence that he should have been. You know, he's never had any violence. You know, on his record, he can pull up his depths and show you. But you know, you'll lock him up for 6 months through error of paperwork, but not him. So yeah, then he got done with that, and then he went back to jail, and then I moved to Beswick. And before I started Back on Track, it was when I got diagnosed with bipolar. It was the same day I got diagnosed with my bipolar. And I remember, you know, on the way there, and Marvin went, what's up with you? Because I froze, and I went, like that. He'd inboxed me on Facebook, bragging about what he did to me on New Year's Eve. Saying, how does Marvin look at you? How does he feel? Ha ha, I'm glad I did that to you. So Marvin said, block him. Just block him, because when I get my hands on him, I'll kill him, because we didn't know where he was, do you know what I mean? So then I started this Back on Track, and I'm in the art room. Now I can pick anyone out of a crowd. If you were walking, I'd know it was you. And I'm sat there and I'm doing arts, you know, it's for de-stressing,
yeah,
you know, with mental health. Of
course.
And I've looked, and he's walked into Back on Track. So I've gone, 1 minute miss, because I just called me. I flung the door open. Marvin was in there as well. He's at the cafe. I've gone running over. Marvin's gone to run, and I've gone, you can fucking wait there, Marvin. You know, I'd got my strength back. I ran over and I just cracked him. And I went, what the fuck are you doing in here? So all the managers are coming over and they're picking me up. And I'm going, he's a fucking nonce. He's a nonce. So he's gone outside. I'm the grass hammer. He phoned the police on me and said I assaulted him. The police come, put me in the office and said, what you waiting for? So I said, pull up his name, pull up my name. So he was like, right, we understand that. So I said, he's been messaging me on Facebook, there's the messages that, well, we've warned him now, he's got to stay away from you.
Warned, yeah. You see, it's all wrong.
He's got a life.
That moment, it should have been taken up.
Locked up.
Life licence, bang.
He's got, you know, he's got an injunction away from me. So it knocked me back. Like, I didn't want to go. Started, you know, turning into an angry person again, drinking all the time again.
How old were you then? I mean, what? Sorry, not age. What? When was this?
This was in 2017. Yeah, 17, I think. Yeah, 17.
So it's not that long.
Nope.
Please tell me the last 4 years have been
mark-free.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, come on.
No. So, a couple of weeks later, I mean, handcuffs with Marv. Now, we know he's back in Manchester because Marvin got word that he's back in Manchester and he's living in Manchester. He's living in a hostel, but Marvin can't find out what hostel he's living in.
Well, that's a good thing.
So,
me.
we're in handcuffs.
For him as well.
And we're stood and we're talking to his mate. And I've looked. And I remember just flinging my handbag on the side and absolutely pelting it. And Marvin's going, what's going on? And here he is, bold as brass, with a can of beer in his hand. And I've started screaming, what are you doing round here? Grabbed the can off him, started smacking it with a can. But the shopkeeper knew Marvin, he went, Marv, control of the cameras. And I was like, I'll fucking kill you, I will kill you. So, like, obviously I'm angry and we're walking home. When I've looked, he's walking up near my flat. I lost it. I absolutely lost it. But I told Marvin, do not get in the middle of us. It's not your fight. He thinks I'm weak. He thinks without you, you know, he can get to me. And I remember just absolutely punching him. And he was drunk and I booted him. And the bus missed running him over, unfortunately, by that much. So I was fuming. So I've gone home to the flat, just drinking, getting sniffed up. And it got to about 11 o'clock and my dad phones me. He goes, Missy, what is going on? I said, what are you talking about? She goes, the police are at the house for you. I said, what do you mean the police are at the house for me? I said, don't let them in the house. I don't live there, don't let them in the house. So I put them on the phone. So she said, so I spoke to the police officer, said, can we come to your house? So I said, no, you can't come to my house. I'll come to my dad's. So I'm sniffing Mav, he's going, what are you doing? You know, they're obviously there for a reason. So she said, we need to speak to you because there's been a threat of arson on your mum's house. I said, what do you mean a threat of arson on my mum's house? I'm betting my dad's dying. You know, we don't know it, but my dad's poorly at the time. So, you know what he'd done? He'd phoned the police and said that I'd hit him and to get me back, he was going to burn my mum's house down, but make sure that I was in it. He phoned the police while he was stood outside my mum's house. And they still didn't lock him up. They still didn't lock him up. All because I defended myself. I got a warning off the police to stay, what do you mean stay away from him? I'm nowhere near him. I'm out here trying to live my life. And that's the night my dad said, I know it's him, just tell me what he did to you. I was like, oh, just shut up, Dad. I'm not going into it again. Like, you're all upsetting me. So I've gone home. And, it messed with me head. And I didn't see him after that till I was 8 months pregnant. 8 months pregnant.
Which isn't that long ago, is it?
No, my son's only 2. I'm in town. Now, I didn't carry very big on my son, but I didn't go many places when I was pregnant. You know, I was very cautious when it comes...
Because you thought you couldn't have kids, didn't you?
Yeah.
So obviously you'd...
Yeah. And, no, I knew he was still on the street, you know what I mean? And if you'd have seen me when I was pregnant on my own, you know, God forbid what would have happened. And I was walking down the street and I was with Marvin's niece. I was with Marvin, but he'd nipped into the shop. And I didn't see him. I just felt slack. And I've looked up, but I've automatically gone like that with my coat. And Cheval's gone, who's that? And I've gone, Mark. So Mark's come out of the shop, so he's gone, what's up with her? She went, someone called Mark. He went, where is he? But he was going through severe mental health, Marvin, at the time. So he's clocked him going on a bus. And his leg got on the bus and start like screaming at him, I'm telling you, we need to leave her home, but we're trying to drag him back. Loads of passengers are, you know, in front of him. And Mark had the cheek to turn around to Marvin and go, she needs to forget all about it. It was years ago. She needs to get over it. Marvin went, what did you say? And I'm like, please, Marvin, please don't hit him. please don't. And he's going to try and get her off the bus, but he's pointing at his stomach. So Marvin's going, say sorry to her, I'll leave it alone. And he was going, I'm sorry, crying. So Marvin went, yeah, that's what I thought. Leave her alone. And he did, because he can't stand up to Marvin.
You see, for me, this is all wrong because, you know, someone who's got history like that, these sentences or should be about. People like him always going to be risked, like you say. He's not going to reform. He's going to carry on doing what he's doing. The amount of people I've seen during my time who started flashing, stalking,
that's what I mean.
You know, minor sexual offence, and next thing they're raping pensioners and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I said to you. That Adam Danworth that attacked me. That's how he started flashing.
I know.
And then turned into a fully fledged.
At that point, they should be on a licence.
Yeah.
Then, so next time they get done and they escalate a bit, they're in for a long time. They they don't deal with these people. No. You know, an arsonist, it's a serious crime, and obviously it is. However, these people get pathetic sentences and they keep getting them.
Yeah, of course, and they don't.
VP's wing, back in,
yeah,
back in, out, back in, back in, back in.
They protect the you know, the people that destroy the vulnerable. Do you know, like, I'll never ever feel safe. I'm telling you now, and on my heart, he would kill me tomorrow with a smile on his face. Do you know why he can't? Because for some unknown reason, he values his pathetic life.
Well, they get off. They get off on tormenting people.
I'm not talking about going to jail, though. He knows if he comes for me, Marvin will put him in the ground this time. He will not, like, I used to self-harm, cut myself, tried to kill myself 3 times. Only Marvin seen the mental damage that man has done to me. So, and Mark knows that he will, for as long as Marvin's got a breath in his body, I will be untouchable when it comes to Mark.
Please tell me that now.
Now I've not seen him.
Now you're in a good place.
Yeah, I'm in a good place. I've not seen him.
You got the little one?
Yeah. It still causes nightmares. It'll always cause nightmares.
No.
You know, it'll always cause nightmares. There's so many things that, you know, I won't reveal that he's done tonight, and I don't know why. I don't know. See, I'm still embarrassed. I'm still ashamed. I don't know why.
Listen, let me tell you now. This is what I firmly believe me should be happening in courts. Yeah, they should take into account what people have done. They should take out, you know, into account that somebody like yourself. I mean, where you are now, you know, the best place you can be. But that should be taken into account. If you're messing about with kids and you ruin a kid's life forever, that should be reflected in your sentence.
Definitely,
not
it should.
A poxy 2-year to serve and come out and you can still get away with doing shit like this. The fact that they can do shit like that and still get away with it and get another sentence.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's 16 years now, and it, you know, obviously I've not seen him, so for what, 14 years it was still going on. Like, you know, what's it going to take? And, you know, in between that time, he's tried to do it to a 12-year-old girl. All right, at 15, I was a baby, but she's a baby. You know, when's it, you know, is the system going to wake up and think the laws have got to change to protect the ones that need protecting?
We'll finish on a positive note.
Yes.
Well, firstly, are you going to be all right? Well, obviously, you're having nightmares about, you know, last night. I heard yesterday it was Greatest Hits, Leeds Radio. Stay with me. I'm just come off my motorway, you know, 5 minutes till I get home, and it said, it was like an advert. It said, by the time children reach 15, 1 in 10 will have been abused. That's 3 in every classroom. So you need to look for the signs, and it give the signs.
Definitely.
And that is the first time I've heard anything like that. For me, again, get in schools, tell kids, anyone who's telling you need to keep secrets is not a good person.
No.
Get in schools when they're like 5 and 6 and 8 and 9, deliver it. And
yeah, they need to be teaching them from young, not from when they get to 14.
Well, there's nothing, is there? It needs to be part of curriculum.
Yeah, of course it does.
It needs to protect kids because it's ruining people's lives.
Definitely. Definitely.
That is quite a positive. Are we,
You're all right?
Yeah.
Come here.
Leave it there then, yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. I'll sit there. You're smiling.